This is a review of La La Land. I know it came out several weeks ago. I finally got around to seeing it. I've been to two movies in the past 24 hours. The Resident Evil and then this one. It was not a double feature, it was the next day. So yes, I went to La La Land, which has Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling from Stupid Crazy Love, and Emma Stone is from Spider-Man reboot, and Easy A, and I think Mean Girls before that. She was kind of a Disney person. I don't know if she was Disney, but she was kind of like that. Unlike Amanda Bynes, one of her contemporaries, who was a Nickelodeon star. Yes, she has good chemistry with Ryan Gosling as an actor in this story. They're basically a romantic couple in the story. It's almost nepotism. It's almost like boyfriend and girlfriend wanted to be in a Hollywood movie about Hollywood. Okay, then they are. They'll probably end up getting married at some point, just because they were in a movie together. Maybe not, but usually that's what happens in Hollywood. They end up having an affair, and then they address that in the movie, actually. But yes, it's a movie about Hollywood. It opens with... I'm going to spoil the heck out of it because it's been out for a while. It did come out late December, around Christmas time, but in very limited release. And it is one of the Oscar movies. This and Hidden Figures are the two movies that I saw of the Oscar contenders. And of course, Finding Dory and also Moana, and also they aren't being nominated directly. They're animated film. Kubo and the Two Strings. All the animated films I've seen. Zootopia. Zootopia still deserves to win Best Picture. Although this movie could get Best Actress, Zootopia still deserves Best Picture. Of the year. So it was fun. It's a fun movie. It's uplifting. Like Hidden Figures was kind of fun and uplifting eventually. I think the Oscars will be cynical though this year. And even though it deserves to get the Oscar, it won't. Maybe for actress. Maybe they'll throw that curveball out there. But they will give Best Actress to the lady from Hidden Figures to kiss up to the fact that last year they did not nominate any African American movies. They have to be all PC, so she's going to get it instead. But we will see. and Hidden Figures will win instead with this one. Actually, what probably will win is Manchester by the Sea, because they like dark, dreary movies about dark, dreary things. They like that grief thing. They like that. So is this one any good? Well, yeah, it's fun. It's good. There were moments of... I don't know if it's the best picture of the year. I still think Sully is a slightly better movie. And not Snowden, really. But it's not even nominated. I think Hidden Figures is probably a slightly better movie. So, yeah, I'll be okay with them winning. It was fun. It had moments. The acting was good. The premise is that she's a coffee barista on the Warner Brothers lot. She meets this down-and-out guy who's sort of a starving musician, pianist guy, and both of them encourage each other to chase their dreams. One to have her be a playwright actress, and him to be a gig guy doing gigs for jazz and stuff, and to chase their dreams or not. And discover that actually chasing their dreams is hard. Such and such. Yada yada. The movie opens with this ridiculous but fun dance number, in which they're on the 82 and they're going around that overpass in Los Angeles, and they're going on this on-ramp, and the traffic stops so that they can all get out there and do a dance number, a full song and dance number with singing. And I don't know whether she and Gosling are doing their own songs or whether they had somebody do them for them. I don't know whether he's actually playing the piano or not. I'm not even... Maybe he is? I don't know. Tough to, they never showed him directly, physically, actually, so I'm wondering if all of the music, whether he would get the Oscars, because did they actually dub in that later with the writers from the show and the musicians from the show and whatnot? Yeah, are they actually doing the performance, or are they lip-syncing and ad-libbing? Kind of hard to tell with her, but with him, they're not really showing him directly actually playing. So I wonder, is it like the Fabulous Baker Boys when they were like playing the piano, when they could actually play, or is it he's sort of making it up? Well, I don't know. Maybe they are playing their own thing, but I didn't hear anything to the effect of whether they were. That amazing acting and amazing playing in the movie. Didn't hear anything about that. Didn't read anything really about their amazing talent in the movie. So Oscar, well, I mean, it's a fun movie to rent, but not Best Picture of the Year. No. But yeah, it's one of the later ones. Oscar likes the later ones. It's fun. Go see it in theaters if it's going to be out of theaters soon. There was quite an audience there. They had a bunch of previews for a bunch of very boring movies. It looked like they were coming out. Another like thriller thing, and another romantic comedy that looks kind of dull with another twist thing with a husband and wife. There's a heist movie with old people in it, which reminds me of an old George Burns comedy. And I'm gonna look that up because that was all right. Okay, they're making a remake of Going in Style, the George Burns comedy where he was with a bunch of old folky cast members in 1979, robbing a bank. So they're making a remake of that. That's not in this movie, but that's one of the previews. And I guess it's a remake with Michael Caine in the George Burns role. So yeah, they got to remake something. What I want them to do is remake The Jerk, because how would that work? No, don't do that. How would that work? But this movie is about this couple, back to La La Land, and their romantic interludes. It's just fun over and over again. There are parts of it that show the behind-the-scenes stuff of how it would actually happen in real life, whether they would get together, whether they would break up, whether they would... she would dump her boyfriend and go for him, or whether they would... What the friends thought of all this, that's a little bit in there. There are, of course, scenes that are completely ludicrous, but if you start off with a song and dance on a freeway, it's going to be ludicrous. So why have... It was kind of manic, so why have scenes where the characters are having real moments of humanity when most of it's make-believe? Well, why do that? But I think to an extent, it's sort of... I wonder what this movie would be like if jazz becomes a main theme in here. Like jazz. Jazz may be related to rap, but no, jazz is way better than rap. They're cousins, but that's it. But yeah, jazz is improv music, basically. Improv music, African American black community music, of which some of the greats out there in the classic Ellington and Eddie M, the current guy from the church, who played for Prince. He's a jazz guy, so it's like, this guy that we know who played for Prince. He was a jazz musician. He said, he was the guy that said the Great Gatsby remake wasn't accurate because they should have had jazz numbers in it, not rap. And that's another thing, but it's like in this movie actually had jazz and no rap at all, which is good. But yeah, jazz numbers. Jazz, the movie, if you think about it, it is jazz. The movie. And that was kind of cool. So it's like an all that jazz kind of thing. It's kind of what they were trying to remake here. But with white people. There are some black people that are playing the musicians in the band, and he's invited to be the keyboardist to Gosling's character. And he's the only white guy. and he wants to start a jazz club, and they do show black people, but they don't show it much. They show it much, but they don't have main characters. They don't really have voices in it. Because it's still kind of whitewashed. It's still kind of messed up. And what some people were complaining about the movie, going, wait a minute, why is this like? Well, they obviously had co-opted an idea from them, from the black community, and made this into a Hollywood movie. This La La Land is clearly originally a jazz story of some kind, probably Broadway or something, and it probably would have been a better movie had it not been cast with the two leads being white. If they cast actual black actors, it probably would have been better, but they didn't do that. It would have made sense, actually. It would have been like, oh, okay, there they are, yeah, they're... I totally would have bought that. That would have been even better. That would have been Oscar-worthy. They did not do that. They did the Blues Brothers thing, but with a couple. Blues Brothers 3, yeah. Well, yeah, the blues is different. The blues is different from jazz. The blues is heart, soul music with, like, you know, it's different. Jazz is improv music where the beat is different each time. Blues is more bluegrassy. It's more soulful, melodic, usually breakup songs. Blues. The blues, something's feeling, yeah. And what they was pointing out in like the Democratic thing is like that all of the pissing and moaning of the political right wing like white guys out there were complaining about their persecution. They're not prosecuted. They're not persecuted at all. They're rich and white. They got nothing to have the blues about. So they won't know what the blues is. They don't know what the blues. That's what that lady was saying on the TV. They put up or shut up, you know. Because they don't know what the blues is. They don't. If you're rich, you don't know what the blues is. Being middle class in Milpitas, we know what the blues is. Well, sort of. Well, now, in terms of white suburbia. But yeah. So, yeah, this movie made sense. I've never actually had a gig in Hollywood or anything, so I wouldn't know about Hollywood, but I do know about Hollywood and the scene and those studios and things and all that stuff. And yeah, I knew the roads they were spoofing in there and all that other stuff. But yeah, and the fact that traffic is ridiculous in Los Angeles, so that 24 series really didn't make any sense. It's like, oh, come on. 24 hours? Mm-mm. You be 2 hours in rush hour traffic just getting across town. And that's even here. Over in LA is probably worse. So yeah. So yeah, the some of the stuff that was the movie is just fine for a musical movie thing. That said, the Jazz Singer and some of those early classics, the early Fred Astaire movies and the early Ford stuff and the early Cecil B. DeMille, the classics, those are still better. So this movie is paying homage to that, as did Hail Caesar. But really, no. There's nobody that comes close to Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. There just isn't. They try real hard, but no, not quite. And there's probably people before that in the African American community dance even better than Fred Astaire, but we just didn't get to see them too much. So, anyway, so but yeah, these two characters are playing sort of that type, the Fred Astaire kind of thing. All talented people that can sing and dance and tap dance and whatever. Tap dance. Anyway, so I always have rhythm, even back then. I'm not tap dancing crazy though. This isn't really tap dancing. It's just freak dancing. But yeah, it's a nepotism movie. Yeah, guy and his girlfriend want to be in a movie, and that's kind of what it is. And if you like that, that's fine. It's a fine movie for that. A little whitewashed, but if it had been something previously, like a Broadway thing, then cool. It's a different animal than Hollywood, though. Broadway and animal is different. It's a performed theater arts as opposed to that. I've never been on Broadway, but I've known of people who were. Now, I've never even been to New York, but I have relatives that have been to New York. But yes, but yeah, I have been to LA and Anaheim, mainly Anaheim. Yeah, I prefer to Disneyland, but I have been to Hollywood. I've been to the Hollywood Walk thing and been all the tourist traps and all that. Grumman's Chinese Theater, Man's Chinese Theater, and all that stuff. I've been to the Universal backlot tour thing 3 or 4 times when I was a kid and then a teenager and a little older. Yeah, so I got to see the Universal tours. I think Warner Brothers does them too. Yeah, so anyway, but yeah, I'm mainly a tourist. And I've not worked in Hollywood, but it feels like it. A local ham. Anyway, so yeah, it's a fine movie. It's okay. She should win actress. He could win actor, but it's not necessary. I don't think Mel Gibson's going to win because many of those producer guys are actually Jewish, and Mel Gibson is an anti-Semite, so they're probably not going to give him an Oscar for Hacksaw Ridge. They might nominate him, but they're not going to give him. No one here. You get blacklisted. The funny thing is also in Hollywood. It was about Hollywood. You turn over 50, and they do not cast you anymore. If you're a lady, at least. If you're a man, they don't mind. They cast you. So as soon as, well, Emma Stone's nowhere near 50, but 20 years from now, when she is, then they'll be all, oh, we're not going to cast you anymore in anything, because it'll happen. Mila Jovovich is almost there, so hey, yeah, not quite. She's in her 40s. 10 years, 12 years from now. Yeah. But yeah, they very well, they have ageism and blacklisting and stuff. There was an odd scene in the movie in which the Gosling character, let's go to the odd stuff in here. Didn't mind the others. In which he walks into the lot. He's at Warner Brothers, and he walks into the Warner Brothers lot. And says he just ran past the guards, and he's supposed to be a nobody. That is just a musician, and that's not going to happen. Yeah. No, they already knew he was an actor, and they let him in because he's Ryan Gosling. It's like they had to break the fourth wall there to do that. And she got into it because she's actually an actor. So the reason that they liked her play in the movie, even though some of them didn't, is she's an actor. Because otherwise, in real life, the play would be destroyed. She wouldn't have a career, and she wouldn't end up getting hired to later story and going on to Paris and meeting someone else and all that other stuff. And then they wouldn't have that weird ending where they both fantasize now having different lives. He's got the club now. He gets a club that he wanted. She gets her movie career. She comes back 5 years later. She's married to someone else. They meet at a club, and they both fantasize in this sort of... He puts on a song for her. That's the theme of the movie, and Mia's theme. And they put it on, and it's kind of jazzy, fusion jazzy, but more like a show tune. And they put it on, and they go in there, and and they both fantasize about what it would be like had they actually stayed together, where they would have been happy like together and had a kid instead of the other two, and then they went. But it's like, and some people were complaining of that controversy on some of the more stuck-up critic blogs. Now, that scene makes sense, though, because of the rest of the stuff that sort of flashes back and forward in their minds and stuff. In the story, that scene makes perfect sense in the movie, in the context. It could have ended with her going to Paris. It would have been fine. But probably a test audience didn't like that ending, so they wanted to tack on, oh, he becomes successful, too. So I'll throw that in there. But yeah, so it has sort of a happy ending, but with different lives coming together. And that is jazz. La La Land. Yeah, La La Land. Yeah, go out and see it. Oscar movie. It won't win because Hidden Figures is going to win. Actually, no, that Manchester's going to win. Anyway, bye.